The fishermen are profoundly Muslim, sincere and devout Muslims who diligently perform their 5 daily prayers and whose highest aspiration in life is to be able to go to Mecca someday. The Islam practiced in West Africa is moderate and syncretic. This mixture of animist traditions and Sufi intellectualism has produced a practice dominated by fetishes and idiosyncratic holy men, which is vigorously rejected by Muslim orthodoxy.
Everything is written in the verses of the Quran. Prayer is obligatory for Muslims. Only prayer and solidarity among us can help us overcome our difficulties. There are fishermen who go out to sea and never come back. They die. There's no explanation for this. It's God's will. Sometimes husband and wife argue, and little by little, this becomes a very big problem. What began as a minor problem turns into a family tragedy and ends in divorce. This is not God's will. This is our fault. We should be united and trust in God. That is the way.
My dear teacher Sabir Toa is one of those old Africans who, when they die, will take centuries of experience with them.
At midday, when the sun is at its highest and the fishermen are still out at sea, the people of the port take a break. It's hot, and all one can do is wait. The Mauritanians are one of those peoples who excel at useless ceremonies. They are masters of marvelous strategies to pass the time. The theater of life in Mauritania wouldn't be complete without the card games and the interminable rounds of tea. There's no gathering without cards, nor a silence that is not broken by the bubbling of boiling water on the fire. You play, you drink, and you sing. There's no wealth here, there never was, but there's enough to celebrate the daily struggle as a triumph of life. The worst years of drought have passed. Also gone are the days of abundant fish. The will to fight to survive has remained, the courage to look the future straight in the eye.
By dusk, Madame Bamba has enough fish and is completing her monthly shipment to Ghana. We already know how you treat the fish with salt. Now I'd like you to tell me if it is difficult for you to work on the beach with the fishermen.
No, it's not difficult. I have a good relationship here with the fishermen. When they need money for gasoline, I lend it to them. Or even for family problems or other matters, I also lend it to them. A few days later, they pay me back. I always have a lot of fish, and that is thanks to the trust between us. All of the fishermen know me and respect me.
Salam alaikum. Come work. Salam alaikum. Wahai? 15. Say 15. Okay, you're right. 15 bucks. You're right. Okay.
You work here on the beach. Who takes care of your children and the cooking at home?
In my house, I cook. A girl helps me, but I always do the cooking. And I also take care of my children. I have 6. 3 live in Ghana, and the other 3 live with me. The oldest helps me here with the fish business. My husband lives in Ghana. He's very old. He comes for a week, makes sure that everything is the way he likes it, and then he leaves again for 3 months. I take care of the business and the house. I like to watch television and listen to the music from Ghana, but I don't have time to. This work is very tiring, and I get very, very worn out.
Are the women of the port supportive of each other?
Yes, yes. We all work together. The women and the fishermen. When someone needs help, the rest of us come to their aid. Before, nobody salted the fish here. I was the first to do it, and I have taught all the others who work with me now.
The sea has no borders. It is enormous, and the big ships can go wherever they like. It is they who enter our territory. We had an accident a while ago and our ship turned over. There were 21 people inside. All of the fishermen in small boats were in the same area. We were fishing calmly for 2 or 3 hours. When dusk fell, some of the boats left, but we stayed on until night. We had gone a long time without sleep. We were exhausted. Furthermore, we hadn't caught much fish. At such times, our work is hard, and you return to land only to drop off the fish and then immediately go back out for more. That night it started raining, and when it rains, you have to stop fishing. So we tried to rest until the next day. But there inside, in the boat, on the sea, I saw a light that was coming towards us. We felt the noise of a ship that was coming on very fast. We didn't know what to do. We tried to start up the motor, but we were so nervous that the starting cord broke. Then we had no choice but to sit down and trust in God. Some people jumped into the water to escape swimming. Luckily, our fellow fishermen were nearby, and those who jumped in could reach their boats. The rest of us didn't want to abandon ship. A motor is very expensive. We stayed there watching and praying that the monster would pass by without hitting us. But it didn't turn out like that. The ship came straight for us, struck and ran us down. We dove into the water. Most of us were lucky enough to grab hold of a piece from the shipwreck. I felt so angry. I felt an immense powerlessness. I couldn't do anything for anyone else. Our strength failed out of fear and exhaustion, and many of us didn't know how to swim. Besides, it was in the middle of the night and we'd been working all day. When a boat arrived to save us, we climbed up and I started to ask, "Are we all here? Were we all saved?" "Yes," they told me. I shouted their names one by one. If someone didn't answer, I repeated his name louder. When I finished the list, 3 hadn't answered. Right away, I knew they had died.
After a morning of hard work, the fishermen see the fruits of their labor and they vigorously pull in the net, knowing it is full of fish. These are tenacious and proud men who only weeks before survived a shipwreck and today celebrate their reunion with life. Despite the pressure that the large ships have put on the sea, despite the pillage, the Mauritanian coast still thrives with fish. But let there be no doubt about it, 10 years ago the catches were much bigger. How much longer can it hold out? The return to the beach is a moment of great satisfaction. On a good day, they bring in more than a ton of fish. But even under the best of conditions, on a day like today, this hard work does not provide the fishermen with more than minimal sustenance. A fisherman earns a modest $3 from a full shipload like this. The owner, usually one or several of the fishermen, gets a little more, just enough to pay for the gasoline and the wear and tear on the equipment. A motor costs about $1,500 and a boat close to $1,100.